I'll tell you right now, I'm probably not gonna like that fork. Party people in the place to be. What's going on? It's me. I just got out of Toy Story 4. And I was right. I did not like that fork. Why was that a thing? It was just as annoying as you thought it was. Sorry, Tony Hale, but nothing you could do to make that stupid fork worth it. However, everything else surrounding said fork was absolutely ridiculously worth it. So let's do this. Let's go to the spoilers first. Oh wait, before you go, I'll let you know that not only are there mid-credit scenes, but there is a post-credit scene after some in memoriams at the very, very end. So it is worth sticking around for the post-credits. I'm not gonna tell you what they are until you're ready to go ahead and skip. So now, go ahead and skip to that section. Go for it. They're gone? Good. Tom Hanks is in this movie a great deal, an appropriate amount. Tim Allen is not. Well, he's not in the movie. Well, he is in the movie, but it is not the Buzz Lightyear show. It is all, this is Woody, boy. This is Woody's flick. And not just Woody's flick, actually. It's actually Bo Peep's flick too. I don't know if you've seen too much of the trailers. I remember the trailer. They're showing off the stupid fork a lot. And they showed off a little bit of Bo Peep. That, you know, saw the trailers, you know that, you know, Bo Peep's back at least for part of this movie. But it turns out she is in this movie a great deal. So they are with Bonnie. They recap everybody a little bit, right? Andy, then Bonnie. Bonnie's got the toys. Bonnie's not playing with all the toys. Bonnie's playing with some of the toys. Woody's kind of left behind. Woody's been stashed in the closet for a while during cleanups and not really played with all that much. But Woody decides, against the better wishes of the new room, or whatever that, not new, but the room leader, Dolly, against her better wishes, he is going to accompany Bonnie to kindergarten on her first day. She is frightened to death. Apparently no preschool, no real interaction with other kids has happened for poor little Bonnie, so kindergarten is objectively frightening for her. But Woody is going to accompany her in her backpack, despite everybody telling him not to. He goes. Bonnie doesn't know that he's there, but he helps her because, you know, she's trying to craft her pencil holder. Some kid comes up and takes all her utensils, all her craft supplies that she's going to use to make this thing. She's sitting at the desk alone. Woody grabs some stuff out of the trash can that the kid accidentally drops in there and, you know, tosses them out to Bonnie so that she can find them. But one of the things, Woody's responsible for that stupid fork. Woody is the one that's responsible for that freaking cowboys. So Bonnie proceeds to make Forky, which, as it turns out, is just Tony Hale being all kinds of spazzy and annoying. I actually kind of thought he was John Mulaney for a minute from like Big Mouth. But no, it was Tony Hale. I'm like, really? That didn't sound more like John Mulaney than Tony Hale. But all right, Tony Hale. Oh, before we get to any of that, the trailers beforehand, just some of them were whatever. But there are a couple things that I need to, off the top, talk about. First and foremost, there was a trailer for this movie called Arctic Dogs. It is the worst trailer I've ever seen. It's Sonic what? Sonic who? No. Arctic Dogs is objective garbage. And what Sonic, for the animation is trash, the story is stupid, they do what some movies didn't do.
And that's rely heavily on. There was one movie that kind of bombed recently. I can't remember what it was, but that didn't talk about its cast all that much. And that was one of the reasons. But Arctic Dogs does. Arctic Dogs makes a point to tell you about the star-studded cast. The star-studded cast whose voices are all indistinguishable from anybody. None of this star-studded cast, none of the money that was spent on this cast, first off, went into animation, which would have helped, or went into the writing, which would have helped, or went into the trailers, which would have helped. No, it all went into these actors' pockets who brought nothing to they all were in, all the women sounded alike, all the men sounded alike, they were all indistinguishable. Hawkeye is the main star of this movie for no reason. You got a TV show. Hawkeye, go do your TV show for Disney X or Plus or whatever they're calling it. Don't go do these stupid movies. You don't need to go do these stupid movies. And this one looks objectively terrible. It looks so bad. It looks awful. It will make its money back because parents are stupid and think their kids are stupid and will stuff them in a movie theater to see this. I never thought I would long for another Ice Age, but I longed for another Ice Age after watching that trailer. Arctic Dogs, watch that trailer. It is the pits. It is the worst. It is the absolute worst. Semicolon. They showed a Lion King trailer at the beginning of this, obviously, because it's a Disney movie, and I still don't want to see it. It looks like trash. It does not look good. Nothing about the Lion King movie, the non-animated live-action one, looks good. It looks nothing. It doesn't look engaging. Doesn't look intriguing. Nothing looks like I should be entertained by it. And then at the end of the trailer, they get a semi-close-up of Timon and Pumbaa, and they look terrifying. No. But that, of course, will make billions of dollars because if nothing else, the Bayhive or Beehive or whatever they call themselves will go and throw their money down at the altar of Beyonce. Anyway, Toy Story 4. Bonnie makes Forky thanks to Woody. Woody, oh my gosh. Forky is spastastic and terrible, but Bonnie's in love with him. And he thinks he's trash because he's from the trash. His core, the spork part, is trash. And he is in love with the idea of being trash. And he wants to go back to the warm, sometimes squishy landscape of the trash. And he keeps trying to throw himself into the trash. And Woody keeps trying to save him from going into the trash because Bonnie is so in love with this toy that she made. So in love with Forky. So that's Woody's job now, is to make sure that that Forky doesn't throw himself into, not kill himself, but throw himself into the trash. They even have a song about don't throw yourself into the trash because this girl loves you, boy, or something like that. Like, really? This is what we were wasting. We went from you got a friend in me to don't go jumping in the trash, Fork. Like, come on. But the movie comes on. So they go on a road trip. The family goes on a road trip, and it's Woody's job to make sure, Woody puts this job on himself to make sure that Forky doesn't go into the trash and break Bonnie's heart. Well, Forky decides, forget all this, I'm gonna jump out of the RV and be trash. Woody goes after him. Woody then, on their walk towards the carnival where they are, because they know where the next stop is thanks to the GPS, which will play a role later on in the movie, decides that he is going to follow Forky and get him back and take him back to Bonnie. And on the way there, as they're walking, Forky explains to him what trash is like and how he loves being trash, and he's supposed to be trash, and trash is beautiful. He gets the warm feeling in trash. And Woody says, well, that's how Bonnie feels about you. You're her new toy. She feels a warm feeling about you that way. And then Forky gets it, because Forky, aside from being spastastic, is apparently not even functionally retarded, just retarded anyway. Just stupid. He's just dumb. He's just stupid. There's no redeeming qualities about that stupid spork. Anyway. But he gets it. He understands that Bonnie loves him. And he understands that that's his lot in life, is to be Bonnie's toy, and he and Bonnie are supposed to be together, and he's her trash to him. So they decide that they're gonna link back up with the rest of the crew, and that's gonna be the plan. Until now, before all this happens, the preamble is we get to see what happened to Bo Peep. Apparently, Bo Peep got sold or given away to a different family. Now, Woody was there when it happened. He tried to stop it. He tried to, get her to come back in. Bo Peep was like, why don't you come on the road with me, cowboy? We could, we can go to this new family. We could, explore, we live that life together. And then Andy comes out and he's looking for Woody, and Woody says, no, I gotta stay with my boy. I gotta be loyal to Andy. And she understands, and she drives off with the new family, and we have all the events of the other Toy Stories. So, as Woody and Forky are coming back to the RV where the rest of the toys and the family are, they cross a antique store, and Woody sees Bo's light in the antique store, and he's like, oh, we got time before Bonnie wakes up. Why don't we go see? I think my friend is in this store. And he goes into the store, sees Bo Peep's light, but Bo Peep isn't there. But as he's entering the store, he comes across Gabby in her stroller with one of her 3 or 4 dummies pushing her around. The ventriloquist dummies that absolutely have nothing, just kind of blow the Goosebumps dummy, I think his name was Slappy, out of the water. Just out of the water with the creepiness. Partially because there's more of them. There's like 3 or 4 of them now, and it's just turned up. Plus, I accidentally got the 3D version of the movie, so it was just the one that was planned at the time, and so that's the one I saw, and they were ridiculously frightening, coming out of every particular place that they could, and they just look scary from the beginning. It's nightmare fuel. But she's she's getting pushed along in her stroller, and she sees that Woody has a drawstring. Woody has a voice box, and is made about the same time she was, and she's thinking, maybe his. She explains to him, maybe your voice box, maybe we're made in the same factory. Wouldn't that be fun? Oh, your voice box is interesting. Isn't that fun? Maybe your voice box is the same as mine. I think your voice box, hopefully yours works, because mine doesn't. And, it says warbling, I'm rah, rah, rah. The record's fine, but her voice box doesn't work. And Woody still works. Great. She's going to steal Woody's voice box. Oh, she is frightening. She is this little, hi, I'm going to steal your voice box so that I can get adopted and loved by a child. You've had your chance. You were in kids' rooms. I wasn't. I'm going. It's my time now. Like, see, she's a villain, and like you I don't know how they do this. But you I would say you sympathize with her. I would say you understand her motivations. She's not just evil for the sake of being evil. She's not, I think that's where the big purple one from Toy Story 3, they kind of lost the box, the joke there. With him, I believe he had a motivation. I get it. But for whatever reason, I've sided more with Gabby's motivation than I did with the villain's motivation in Toy Story 3. And they're similar. They're similar because they're toys. They just want to be loved by kids, and for whatever reasons, they're not. So anyway, they're in this antique store, and Woody and Forky, or Woody's trying to take Forky out, but Forky's too stupid to leave, and they end up trapped in the toy store for a while. So meanwhile, the toys in the RV are trying to figure out where's Woody before Bonnie wakes up. Where's Woody? Bonnie wakes up. I lost Forky, because she's not really caring about Woody. So the toys devise plans to kind of keep them there for a little while. They're looking around for Forky,
Buzz decides that he's going to listen to his inner voice the same way Woody told him that he listens to his. But Buzz interprets it as he's just pressing the buttons and listening to whatever his pre-recorded voice says. So his pre-recorded voice actually leads him through the rest of the movie and tells him rightfully what else to do, including go and find Woody. So he goes to try to find Woody. Meanwhile, Woody and Forky are trapped in this antique toy store, trying to find their way out. The antique store's owner is an old lady, and her granddaughter comes in, and her granddaughter comes in, to visit her grandmother and everything. Woody and let me see if I can. Where is it? Is it back there? It is. Is it gonna let me do this? It is. Okay. So Woody. I'm trying to think. So Woody somehow get back to Bo Peep. Woody. How does Woody escape? Woody. Because Woody ends up having to leave Forky in the antique store. So Woody, realizing that they're gonna try to steal his voice box or whatever, how does he get out? Oh, so what happens is the antique store's owner's granddaughter, finds Woody because Woody escapes from the ventriloquist dummies by pulling his string and getting noticed by the little girl. So she finds him and she takes him out to like a playground. At said playground, he runs away from the little girl, finds all these other toys that are just kind of there at the playground, and one of the toys that he runs across is Bo Peep. And this is where my apparent love affair of Bo Peep starts, because I don't remember anything about her from the, I remember she was in the movies. I didn't, it's whatever. But in the time frame, in the 20 years or so since we've last seen her, Bo Peep has become a badass as a lost toy on her own. Her and her sheep are badasses now, and they drive around in a mechanized skunk so that nobody messes with them. And she's Mad Max. She's she's Mad Bo Peep. She's learned how to survive on her own, and it is great. She is amazing, tough and strong, smart, just like and apparently played by Annie Potts. How did I miss that she was played by Annie Potts? But it kind of shows in her demeanor now that I know that. But yeah, he comes across Bo Peep, and Bo Peep kind of saves him from the other kids that are coming along, the summer camp kids that are coming along to play on the playground. Although the other toys at the playground are excited to be there, including a couple of army men, three like G.I. Joe type characters, two of which talk to each other and high five each other, and they always seem to leave out the third one in the snowsuit, and it's so sad. But hold on to that thought. So he and Bo Peep decide, he tells Bo Peep that he's got to go back to the antique store to find Forky. And Bo Peep knows that antique store because she was there, and she knows Gabby because she was there, and she is not trying to go back, but Woody coaxes her into going back and getting Forky. So they go back to try to get Forky. Meanwhile, the rest of the crew in the RV is trying to stall Bonnie and the family there by any means necessary, including Jesse sticking a nail in one of the flat tires, and Dad doesn't know how to change a tire, so they're stuck there for a while. Fine, great. So we go to the antique store. Bo Peep, her sheep, this little Polly Pocket knockoff, and what is the other? This Polly Pocket knockoff, and that's it. Go back into the antique store to try to find Forky, and Peep's got a plan. She's got to, she knows exactly what she's supposed to do to try to go and get this toy. Unfortunately, Woody decides he's going to go off on his own because he sees Bonnie's backpack, and he goes off on his own. Now, while all this is going on, Buzz has decided he's going to go try to find Woody. Unfortunately, he gets knocked into one of the vendors, at the one of the carnies at the carnival that's set up there. You've all seen the posters with the Ferris wheel and everything. And he thinks, oh, this is a cool toy, and he ties it up on the thing, the prize board behind the carny ride. So as he's there, Key and Peele are, stuffed animals that are up there, and they mess around with him. And somehow, some way, Buzz tricks them into kind of kicking and holding the stuffed animal's foot in his helmet, and they all come crashing down. And eventually, they all end up joining the gang at the antique store. They all just end up finding their way there to the antique store. As they're finding their way to the antique store, Woody decides he's going to go off on his own because he sees because Bonnie shows up at the antique store. Bonnie shows up there with her mom while they're waiting on the dad to fix the RV. So he decides he's going to make a break for Bonnie and gets caught up with, or almost gets caught up with the cat, I think, that's hanging around the antique store. Of course, there's a cat. There's always a cat. Cats are. Anyway, Bo Peep saves him, but they split off from the rest of the group. So the rest of the group consists of Buzz, the two stuffed animals that are tied together at the hands, Key and Peele, the sheep, and Polly, the little fake Polly Pocket. So they're off on one side, Woody's off on the other side. While they're doing that, so Woody and Bo Peep have to find their way to the cabinet where Gabby is keeping Forky, but Forky doesn't know he's being kept. He's just there with Gabby and telling her all of Woody's secrets that he was told 20 minutes ago on the road as they were walking to the RV. Because he's too stupid to realize what's actually going on. So Bo Peep and Woody end up finding their way into an old pinball machine that's apparently a party for a lot of the toys that have found their way into the antique store that haven't been sold yet. All these lost toys. And they're sitting there and they're having a party. As they're having a party, Bo Peep introduces Woody to John Wick. I mean, Neo. Jesus. Yes, Keanu Reeves is in this movie too. Kyle, you can't get away from it. Sorry, Trapzilla. This is the year of the Reeves. This is the year of the Reeves. And so he's there as a Canadian stunt double, or a Canadian stunt guy, or a toy of a Canadian stunt guy, a Canadian Evel Knievel, who unfortunately was tossed aside once his owner realized that he couldn't do the things that was shown in the commercial, because the commercials back then kind of showed off all these things that the toys unfortunately couldn't do, and he was tossed aside, and that's the only time he's not macho enough to be able to do any of his stunts. But he's very, very cool because Bo Peep makes him very, very cool and pumps him up and gets him to know that he can do anything, right? Including making the jump from where they have to get to, from one cabinet to the cabinet where Forky's being held. So, eventually they all make their way back together in the antique store. And they're about to make this jump. Woody has no idea that he's going to make the jump with the Canadian stunt guy. Meanwhile, the other toys get the key from the old lady to open up the cabinet. Great. Here comes the jump. As the jump is about to be made, the stunt guy remembers his old human, his old boy, his old kid, and kind of loses it a little bit, but somehow miraculously still makes the jump. Linking the two cabinets together, Bo Peep's able to come in with the key, open it, and there they find Forky, who is too stupid to know that he was a trap for Woody. Because here comes Gabby, and here come all the ventriloquist dummies, and Bo Peep's sheep I think she brought the sheep with him, and oh no, she didn't. One of them ended up biting one of the ventriloquist dummies and just kind of hanging on to him during that first Woody debacle, which is one of the ways that Gabby knew that Bo Peep was there. Or Bo Peep is back in the store. And so they have this big dramatic fight that ends up with essentially every toy down on the floor messing around with the cat who's underneath
right in between the first cabinet and the second cabinet, and there's this big dramatic scene. The sheep end up falling down from the high cabinet, and I think chipping one of their legs, which actually got an audible gasp from me because I'm like, they're porcelain. Oh no! Right? It's Disney. It's Toy Story. Of course, it was real. Like, and here's the thing: the 3D it wasn't entirely necessary. There are certain parts of it that was very realistic, especially like when the daylight hit certain shots. The certain shots with the daylight, great. But it wasn't entirely necessary. I could have seen it in 2D. And matter of fact, I thought I was gonna see it in 2D, so I paid the money, and I was like, oh, this is 3D. Okay, so anyway, this big dramatic fight, chase scene with the cat and the ventriloquist dolls and Gabby Gabby and all these other toys finding their way out. Eventually, they all except for Forky find their way outside, like in the trash with the cat and everything. The cat ends up swallowing the little Polly Pocket, and I'm like, Toy Story's dark again, because they did this to me in Toy Story 3. I'm like, Toy Story's dark again. Wow, did they really just do that? They did really just do that, but he ended up coughing her up a little bit later when they were outside, which is not great. Anyway, Cat ends up going back into the store, and all the toys that were in there to try to get Forky out are sitting there battered and bruised, and they don't want to go back, and Woody wants to go back. Now, this entire time, he and Bo Peep have, been kind of flirting with each other and, missing each other and all this lovey-dovey stuff. Here's the big second act breakup, right? Here's the big scene where, Woody's like, the loyalty of a toy and blah, blah, and Bo Peep's like, no, and I'm like, Bo Peep's kind of right. Forget that fork. But Woody decides he wants to go back. So all the other toys except for Buzz take off. Buzz tries to reason with Woody, and Woody's like, I never leave a toy behind, ever. And Woody goes back in, leaving Buzz behind. And Buzz is like, listen to your inner voice. And he hits all the buttons, and all his inner voice buttons are saying, go back to home base. So he goes back to the RV. Woody goes back into the antique store. Immediately, there's Gabby Gabby and the ventriloquist dummies. Woody picks up a pencil. He's ready to fight, but he's not going to fight. Tom Hanks has never been in a fight in his life. Ever. Ever. Anyway. So Woody's there, and he's like, and Gabby Gabby breaks it down like a G to Woody and tells him, hey, I know you used to love Andy and all this other stuff, and now Bonnie's throwing you in closets, man. Listen, I just want a piece of that. I just want a little bit of that. I just want a kid to love me. And Harmony, the granddaughter of the antique owner, she's perfect, man. As soon as she sees me, she's going to fall in love with me. And she hears my voice, she's going to fall in love with me. We're going to have tea parties and everything. She was confessing to Forky. This is part of how I was able to understand her motivation and not sympathize with it, but lean into it more than I was the purple guy from Toy Story 3, was because you see her looking on from that cabinet earlier on at Harmony having a tea party with herself in the antique store, and up above is Gabby Gabby having the same tea party upstairs by herself with her book that came with her doll back in the day, and she's longing to be with this Harmony kid. So you see that in real time. So Gabby Gabby talks Woody into giving her his voice box, and he says, just give me Forky. Just let me have Forky and we'll get out of here. And the ventriloquist dummies descend, and I'm like, yo, he really just made a deal with the devil to try to get out of here. And that's exactly what happened. So he makes a deal with the devil, try to get out of there. And next thing we know, we see him above a sewing machine, one of the dummies with a sewing machine, the needle coming down, sewing him back up after they've
taking his voice box out, and the string's gone and everything. The string's gone. They took the whole thing out. They stitch it back up. The string's gone, Jack. And it's now in Gabby Gabby. And, replaced with her record that's in the little thing. But now it's Gabby Gabby. And she's feeling nice about it. She gives them Forky, and they're on their way out. As they're on their way out, Harmony comes in, and Forky sees it about to happen. And Forky's like, wait, Woody, look. It's about to happen in real time. She's going to have her kid right now. And then Woody stops. And Woody, that's another part of it. Woody also sympathizes with her. So they're not just against the enemy. And part of me was like, dude, why are you giving any credence? Like, she took your voice. She Ursula'd you. Like, why? Why are you, get out. Go get Bonnie. This is the whole point, was go get Bonnie. Anyway. But he sees it happen in real time. Gabby Gabby pulls her string so that Harmony can see her. Harmony picks her up, looks at her. Her grandmother's like, you can have that one if you want. That's yours now. And Harmony's like, no, it's just some old doll. And tosses Gabby Gabby in a box. And Gabby Gabby's heartbroken. And Woody's heartbroken for her. And Forky is still stupid. And so they're about to try to get into Bonnie's backpack, because Bonnie, when she came the first time, left her backpack at the antique store, and Bonnie came back to pick it up. As she goes to pick up her backpack, Forky's in there. Woody's not. Forky and Woody are in the backpack, but she only recognizes Forky. She doesn't pay any attention to Woody. Woody then jumps out of the backpack, goes to find Gabby, and is like, listen, we're going to get you a girl. We're going to get you your kid. I think he's promising to take her to Bonnie. He also does the same thing to Key and Peele. That never happens. They never meet Bonnie. They don't get a kid. They end up helping other toys get kids, but they don't get a kid. It's kind of messed up, Woods. It's kind of messed up. Anyway, so now there's a new plan. Now it's Woody taking Gabby back out to get her a kid. As he's on his way out, there's Bo Peep, who's gonna help him. Again, Bo Peep comes back to Bo Peep and the rest of the crew were on their way back to the skunk car, which ended up getting left underneath one of the rides because it got damaged. As they're on their way back, Polly Pocket kind of whispers into him, "Who's this cowboy I think he is?" Blah blah blah. And Bo Peep realizes the error of her ways and is like, "Yeah, don't you just love him for his loyalty?" And then she goes back to get Woody again, and so she helps Woody and, for whatever reason now, Gabby leave and try to get to Bonnie as they're going over the rooftops now, the canopy rooftops of this carnival. Again, now at this point, Bonnie and her family have left. They fixed the tire and they've left. So all the toys are pretending to be the GPS and steering them back into the carnival for a little bit. Whatever. It ends up getting them there and in the middle of the carnival. Working their way back, they see this lost little girl who's, in a dark corner of the carnival, which is a dangerous place to be. Disney definitely Disney-fied how dangerous that really is. But she's sitting there in the corner, crying. Gabby sees her. She's like, wait a minute, I think that's going to be my kid. And then, all right, fine. So all the caravan has been rushing through stops. One trope of all these movies is everything's moving along and somebody in the crew has to stop for some reason. This is Gabby's reason for stopping. So Gabby and Bo Peep and Woody and the stuffed animals all come, actually all of them, all come down. I think Buzz is back in the car. So they all come down to help Gabby get established, and Gabby's now nervous because she's been rejected, once bitten, twice shy. And again, this is another try to feel better for the villain moment because Woody's trying to pep her up and being like, listen, you got this, it's yours, it's time, blah, blah. And it's like, wait, why are we cheering for her now? Like, part of me was like, why are we cheering for her now? And the other part of me was like, I'm cheering for her now for some reason anyway. So Gabby ends up, so they end up like rolling a ball past the little girl, so her eye catches it and sees Gabby sitting there. And the little girl feels bad for Gabby, and she picks her up. Are you lost too? Hi, I'm Gabby Gabby. And she ends up finding a security guard and finding her family. And Gabby now has a home and looks back at the crew and essentially says, thank you. This is now my child now. Great. Everybody's back up on the top of the roofs trying to get back to the RV. RV's sitting there. Forky's inside the car, pushing the lock button to make sure the dad doesn't get back into the car after he's gotten out, since the car went completely out of his control. They all meet on the top of the canopy that stretches out from the RV. All the crew is up at the top of the roof. They see Buzz coming out, or they see Woody coming out, and Woody, says a tearful goodbye to Bo Peep. He's looking, he's like, oh, Bo Peep, this is, oh man. And he goes back and he meets back up with Buzz on the top of the canopy, and he's all sad, and Buzz is like, and Buzz is like, she's gonna be all right, and he's like, yeah, I know. Buzz is like, no, Bonnie's going to be all right. And as the canopy scene was happening, as Woody was saying the tearful goodbye to Bo Peep, hung on just a little bit too long for normal convention in a movie, and that's when I got the same feeling I got about the same time at Toy Story 3, but for different reasons. Toy Story 3, there was a moment, spoiler alert, where they were at the dump and they were about to go into the incinerator, and I was like, are they really? They're gonna kill him. I'm like, they don't ever want to do another Toy Story movie again. They're gonna kill these toys right now. That's it. They're killing them right. This is the end. They don't ever want to do another one of these again. They're gonna Bambi's mother these toys right in the middle of this accelerator. There's no incinerator. There's no way they get out of this. Same thing, different reason. The way Woody looked at Bo, and the way Bo looked at Woody, and the way how long they were on that shot, I was like, this is the end of Toy Story. This is it. They're done. They're done with Toy Story now. Woody is leaving the group because there's no reason for Woody to stay with the group. Forky knows he's a toy. Forky knows how important he is to Bonnie. Forky understands that relationship. He just became sentient in the backpack when, at school. Like, it shows his sentience. But Woody's not the leader of the room. Woody's not played with anymore. Woody can be a quote-unquote lost toy with Bo Peep and have his goodbye. And by the way, Woody's really the only character that they've made of any significant importance that's from the core toy group that has a kid in Toy Story 4. Buzz is a side character. I don't even know why they have Tim Allen going out on all these press junkets for him to get beat up for not playing bid whist or whatever, or what was it, spades. I don't know how to play spades either. Calm down. There's no reason for him to go on these junkets. It's all about Tom Hanks. It's all about Woody. This movie is a Woody movie. Woody and Bo Peep. It should be Tom Hanks and Annie Potts going out on these junkets. Tim Allen can stay home because Tim Allen was in a significant portion of the movie, enough to earn a paycheck, but he ain't the star anymore. It's still been Woody. Looking back, it's pretty much always been Woody. It's pretty much always been about Woody. Really. It's always been about Woody's insecurities as being a toy and blah, blah, blah. Tom Hanks Tim Allen got equal billing because at the time he was on equal footing. But he's not, celebrity-wise, he's not anymore. And as far as the movies are concerned, he's not. And really never has been. So it's really Woody's movie and really Woody's story. So yeah, I knew that was it. And so the rest of the toys come up, say a tearful goodbye to Woody.
And Woody goes on with the rest of the toys with Bo Peep, the stuffed animal, Key and Peele, and the John Wick is up there too. John Wick also makes another jump. This time blindfolded and does all his posing. Is kind of cool. But John Wick, Bo Peep, the sheep, Polly Pocket, and that's it. That's the crew, and Woody join and the Key and Peele, and Woody joins them, and leaves the rest of the group. And Bonnie doesn't notice because Bonnie never really cared about Woody. It was, it was the other toys maybe, and now she's got Forky. She really doesn't care about Woody. And there you go. And so Woody ends up getting his happy ending, and the main story ends with him and Bo Peep looking over the carnival from the top of one of these tents, canopies, and enjoying their moment. They don't kiss because I guess toys don't kiss for some reason. Anyway, it's like they're kind of building to this big romantic kiss between these toys for a while, and I don't know what it says about me, and I was expecting to see it. But anyway, even one when they meet back up in the playground, one random girl picks them both up and is like, "Oh, hi, Mr. Cowboy," blah, 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 and brings them close together. And I'm like, "Are they gonna kiss?" No, they don't. She just drops them and goes off somewhere else. So yeah, that's where the main story ends. Then there are mid-credit and post-credit scene. The mid-credit scenes are where the carnival toys help the other stuffed animals get chosen because the carnival worker isn't paying any attention to the carnival toys, so they just kind of rig the game so that this knocks over and throw the stuffed animals onto the ledge to kids so that they can go love them, right? And then that's apparently their epilogue. That's apparently Woody's epilogue. That crew, that's apparently their job now, is to do that for all the kids that come to the carnival. The Toys at Home's epilogue is Bonnie goes first grade, and Jesse joins her this time in the backpack and tells them all the same story that you saw in the trailer. Bonnie made a friend. Oh, she's making friends already. No, she made a friend, and there's this plastic knife that has female hair on it, and they open the gates and Forky sees her and falls in love, and she's thinking trash, and Forky's like, "Oh no, we're a toy," and she's like, "Why am I alive?" And Forky's like, "I don't know," and that ends that. I was in a relatively empty theater. When I got in there, it was me and some guy who looked like he was a movie critic because he had like notes with him, but he left. He left pretty early on. So, I don't know why, but he left pretty early on. And then eventually there was a crew of kids that came in. Not young kids, but kids that came in. They laughed at certain things. The things they laughed at were the John Wick portions. They laughed at some of the jokes. They didn't get all of them. I laughed at some more jokes than they did. Nobody laughed at Forky. Forky is the Poochie of this movie. Nobody laughed. Nobody cared. He was there for no reason. Ugh. Ugh. And I've actually seen a Forky toy in the store. And I can't tell you how capitalistic that is. How frighteningly capitalistic that is. Because it's so not worth the money. Anyway. And then the post-credit scene. Post-credit. The last thing you see is Canadian Evel Knievel come in and do the Pixar thing, and then the one soldier, the one G.I. Joe guy that couldn't get a high five, gets a high five. John Wick high fives him because he's trying to start a religion, and I believe it's working. Anyway, overall, this movie tugged at the heartstrings. It's very, 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 very good. Now we can talk about non-spoilers. All right. The animation was great. Obviously, Pixar, for crying out loud, leaders in the game. 3D, not necessary, but fine. You can do that if you want to and got the money to spend. There are certain shots that were very good with the 3D. There were certain shots where the sunlight hits it. Certain shots at night that are very good. The very opening scene with the rain is a little heavy-handed. But for the most part, the 3D really works.
you don't necessarily, there are certain shots where you get the idea that these are real toys in the real world. And actually, there's one overhead shot like in the antique store where the humans look very real. For the most part, though, it's not necessary to do the 3D. So if you don't have to spend the extra however many bucks, you don't need to. It's fine. You can, but it's not necessary. The voice acting in this, again, Toy Story, very good. They make good use of the actors that they have. I still don't know why I didn't get the connection between Andy Potts and Bo Peep. I still don't know. Because I love me some Andy Potts, and I still don't know how I didn't get that connection. And I apologize, Miss Potts. I really do. Keanu works because he's Keanu Reeves. Tom Hanks still works. Tom Hanks is still a national treasure. Before we get into Tom Hanks, speaking of national treasures, there was a deal made about the Rickles effect in this movie and them making use of Don Rickles' voice even after he passed a couple years ago in this movie. There's not a lot of Don Rickles. There's not a lot of Potato Head. He's mostly there. He's there, but he doesn't speak a lot. There are a couple things that he says in it that are fine, but he doesn't get any lines. There's no hockey pucks. There's none of that. He kind of just says "Bo" and a couple of different. I think he maybe has like maybe 3 or 4 lines. He wasn't that much of a factor. He was one of the people that they talked about in the in memoriam at the end, and great. Obviously, fine. You have to acknowledge Don Rickles, but a bigger deal was made of his posthumous involvement in this than it actually was. At this point, it was a lot of wasted talent, and not in the same way of Arctic Dogs, where it's like none of the voices sound the same, or all the voices sound the same. They're all individual voices. Cliff Clavin is still there as Hammy, right? They're all still there, but it's so little. They're doing so little. The side character, the supporting cast is doing so little versus the really main cast. I mentioned Tim Allen. Tim Allen, for his billing, is not doing a lot in this movie. Multiply that by 2 or 3 for everybody else in the cast. They probably spent more money on that than if we did like a per line or, billing importance. They really needed to or should have. In the credits, they showed like Betty White and Carol Burnett as I think they ended up being some of Bonnie's toys from like Toy Story 3. And I heard Joe Rogan, Seth Rogen, as the unicorn, and a couple of times he was kind of funny, but it's like it wasn't entirely necessary. Whoever played the Triceratops, I think it was Kristen Shaw. Not entirely necessary, right? Jeez, Betty White and Carol Burnett. I didn't hear them at all. They may have been there. They may have said I think the chair, which was Cheryl Burnett. I think the chair said a line or two, but I think it was only one line. One, Woody was in the closet in the beginning of the movie. I don't remember Betty White in it at all. So, empty credits that were there for, little to no reason. But the cast that we did here, Tom Hanks, the American treasure that is Tom Hanks, you can hear every earnest beat in his tone. You can hear every heart-wrenching I miss Bonnie moment. Every one of them. You can feel the tears welling up. You can feel the sincerity in his voice. You can feel the love that Woody has for Bo Peep in this movie. Not just the glances, just his stammering, his delivery of the lines. You can hear everything. Tom Hanks in this movie was definitely worth his price, and then some. Just national freaking treasure. The story that was told, a better story than we got in the trailers. Because a lot of the trailers focus a lot on the fork. They don't need to do that. A lot of the trailers and like some of the trailers and like the super short spots focus on the fork, and the billboards too don't focus on the fork. Take focus away from the fork, please. But overall, I would say this movie, out of $15, earns I'm gonna say 14 out of the 14 out of the $15. It's not perfect. It's not. I would say it's not perfect. I think Toy Story 3 got on a balance more right. There are a couple things that took that dollar off. That stupid fork took that dollar off, and the lack of use of the supporting characters helped take that dollar off. But how they used everything else keeps it at about 14 for me. It's nearly there. It's very good. It's above a lot of the rest. It's definitely better than trying to think what other animated movie you would have taken your kids to see since then, or after that, because they showed some trailers for it's. I can't like. I would say it's probably going to be better than Lion King. It's definitely going to be better than Arctic Dogs by a mile. I haven't seen it, but it's probably going to be better than Life of Pets 2, because Life of Pets 2 looks like garbage. So, yeah, go ahead and take your kids to go see this one. Go ahead, because you're going to enjoy it, and it's a send off. It's a nice bow for Toy Story. I don't believe that there will be another one. I won't count that as a spoiler, because it's my personal belief that there won't be another one. Okay, so to wrap this, ran out of space. So yeah, to wrap this up, 14 out of $15, totally worth the watch. Party people, tell me what you think down there in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. Matter of fact, reverse that. Like, subscribe, share. Share. We are very close to getting some of our privileges back. Fantastic. Do me a favor. You want to help keep the lights on at the party? I know you do. Subscribestar.com/surreal469. Patreon.com/surreal469. There are links in the description that you can do all your normal online shopping with to help keep the lights on to the party. Patreon.com/surreal469, or whatever the Patreon, not Patreon. Forget I said all that. Not the Patreon link, but the what's the PayPal? Yes, PayPal. Links at the description down there below. Help keep the lights on at the party. And I don't have. Hold on. I really need to start having these handy. Until next time. Cheers.